Okay, hello Year 6, welcome to Thursday. It's our second online English lesson of the week and I hope you're all well. We are today going to be generating some language and we're going to be using ways of generating it and collecting it that you will be familiar with. We're trying to keep it as close to how we would teach you in class. So it should all be familiar and we're going to be using this language to write something tomorrow. As always, if you want us to see what you've been doing, please feel free to email it to us. And we'd particularly like to see some of your writing tomorrow to keep us occupied over the weekend. So enjoy the lesson and I will see you again tomorrow. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is reread the extract from yesterday. And as before, you can read it yourself, you can pause the video, or you can listen to me read it. Zoe ran harder than she had ever run in her life. Her feet pounded through the deserted streets of derelict buildings. Somewhere, not far behind, she could hear the gang coming after her. It felt as if her heart would burst, but she didn't slow down. She'd been planning to leave the island for a long time, but had been putting it off. It was a big decision to set out to sea in a tiny rowing boat. Now she had no choice. Before, no one had bothered her. Zoe was a loner. Most of the people left on Norwich hung around together in groups, but she preferred to be on her own. It was safer that way because you never knew whom you could trust. Somehow, someone had found out about the boat she'd been hiding. A boat was an escape route, a way to get away from Norwich, which got smaller every year as the sea kept on rising. It didn't matter that there could only be room for 2 people at most in her boat. Others had joined in the chase, and now a mob of about 15 people was hot on her heels. There was only one way out, to get to her boat before they got to her. So let's think a little bit about the line in the text. A boat was an escape route, a way to get away from Norwich, which got smaller every year as the sea kept on rising. Have a look at the map of Norwich. Does it make sense, given what you can see, that Zoe would need a boat to escape from Norwich? Why do you think she refers to Norwich as an island? What does this suggest to you about what has happened in the book? Have another look at the map and what do you notice about the geography of this location? Can you imagine what could have happened to the sea levels to create such devastation that Norwich has become surrounded by water? Stop the slides and have a little think. You might want to jot down some ideas or discuss it with somebody if they're near you. In this book, Marcus Sedgwick has imagined that climate change has caused the sea levels to rise significantly. This has led to Norwich and other areas of Britain becoming flooded, and the higher areas becoming islands. Zoe has been trapped on one of these islands and is now trying to escape on a small boat she has discovered and repaired. Imagine you are Zoe as she is running away from the gang. How would she be feeling? What could she see? What would she hear and how was she moving? You can divide a piece of paper into 4 like we do in class, or print this off the website. Let's look at the second box and think about what Zoe could see. Pause the video and look at the text again and your ideas from Wednesday to help you. I read this through thinking about what Zoe could see. The first part that I noticed was that she's running through deserted streets of derelict buildings. I've underlined these to make it clear which parts we're working with. I've taken these ideas from the text and added them to my grid. Make sure you are clear what words mean when you are selecting them. Use a dictionary or thesaurus to help. If you don't have one at home, you can find these online. The first word that I looked up was derelict. It means in a very poor condition as a result of disuse and neglect. This tells me that nobody is living in the buildings and that maybe they've been empty for a long time. Deserted means empty of people. This makes me think that nobody has lived in those houses for a while, and it might be quite an eerie atmosphere around. Now I know what these words mean in the context of how they're used in the extract, I've used a thesaurus to look up synonyms of derelict and deserted. I've added words and phrases to the grid, not sentences, just like we ask you to do in class. So you can see, as well as derelict, I've added in dilapidated, ramshackle, ruined. As well as deserted, I've added in the synonyms desolate, neglected, uninhabited. Now think back to the picture you drew and ideas you had yesterday. I know that there are not many people living in this place, so I think there will be cracked windows in the houses, ragged curtains hanging limply at the window, peeling paint on the doors and shop fronts. There might be cars lining the street, but not new ones. The cars will have flat tyres, dull, scratched paintwork and smashed mirrors. I think any gardens and parks will be overgrown and uncared for, so I will think of words to describe that too. I'm also wondering, can Zoe see the sea at all? You might have more ideas about what she can see. Add as many words and phrases as you can think of and use a thesaurus to help, like we would do if we were in class. We don't want any sentences though, we are just collecting words and phrases. You can see that I've added some of my ideas onto the second box about what Zoe could see. Now think about the other three boxes. What would Zoe hear as she pounds along the street? What noises would she make? Do the mob behind her make a noise? Are there any noises from the derelict and deserted buildings, doors banging in the wind? Did you imagine any creatures being in this place? What weather did you imagine? How does she feel? Zoe is being chased, running fast, desperate to get to her prized boat because she wants to escape from this island. She might be experiencing a number of different feelings and emotions. Again, read the text to help you imagine how she is feeling. How is she moving? Think about the verbs which you could use to describe Zoe's movement. Don't just think about her feet, how would her arms, legs and hair be moving? Take your time and record your words and phrases carefully. This will help you when you write tomorrow. Aim to fill each box and use a thesaurus to help you. Keep referring back to the text and pictures you drew yesterday to spark your imagination about what it would have been like for Zoe. Keep all your ideas together and come back tomorrow, when we will be using them to create a short passage of writing. See you on Friday.